But first, staying with the topic of North Korea. Since the start of the year, tensions have lowered on the Korean peninsula. In the past few weeks, North Koreans participated in the Olympics in South Korea. Kim Jong-un's sister attended the games and gave the president of South Korea a letter from her brother, inviting him to North Korea. And earlier this week, South Korea's President Moon Jae-in said North Korean officials told him that the North was willing to have a dialogue with the United States. So where do things stand now between North and South and with the South's American ally? For that, we turn to Moon Chung-in. He is Senior Foreign Policy and Unification Advisor to South Korea's president. Mr. Moon, welcome to the NewsHour. The Trump administration describes its policy toward North Korea as maximum pressure. You said yesterday that it should be instead maximum prudence. Why? What did you mean?
What I said is that our President Moon Jae-in is taking maximum prudence in dealing with North Korea and in dealing with the United States. Therefore, it's not for the American president, but we are hoping that our president would turn maximum pressure into some kinds of dialogue and negotiation through prudent policy.
What do you think the chances are that the U.S. and North Korea will talk sometime in the near future?
Right now, it is in the heart, but if North Korea continues to show self-restraint behavior, not test launching ballistic missiles and not undertaking nuclear testing, maybe there is a good chance. North Korea got to show self-restraint behavior.
If there were to be U.S.-North Korea talks, should denuclearization be the main focus of those talks?
Oh, sure. And because denuclearization of North Korea must be the goal of the United States and South Korea.
I ask because clearly there are human rights issues, so many other issues that could be discussed between the two countries.
No, I think it is better to prioritize agenda with North Korea. Right now, the most urgent issue is nuclear and missile issues. It is better to focus on that agenda. If we come up with a human rights and democracy issue to the forefront of negotiation, then North Korea will regard it as a kind of hostile act by the United States. Therefore, it is better for us to focus on the nuclear and missile issues than follow up with human rights and democracy. When and if there is some degree of confidence, trust building between the U.S. and North Korea.
Should there be any preconditions before there were talks between North Korea and the United States?
I personally believe that it is better to have a talk without any precondition, because time is on nobody's side.
And does the U.S. agree with you about that?
I hope that they would come up with that kind of conclusion.
How often is your government talking to the North Korean government?
Now, on the occasion of the Pyeongchang Winter Olympics, South Korea was able to restore all channels of communication with North Korea. Therefore, it will be much easier for us to talk with North Korea now and in the future. But up until end of December last year, there was no channels of communication. There was a big change.
There is clearly discussion about military exercises that the U.S. and South Korea are scheduled to carry out in the coming few months. The North Koreans say they obviously don't like these exercises. They feel threatened by them. Could those exercises be delayed? Does the U.S. and South Korea agree on whether to go ahead with them, the timing of them?
But the American Embassy in Seoul made it very clear yesterday that there will be no more delay of scheduled allocated U.S. joint military exercise. But however, as to the joint military training, which is different from exercise, there could be some room for adjustment. But I cannot tell you what would be the future prospect.
And is that going to be helpful toward getting the North Koreans to sit down at the table?
I don't know. North Korea is likely to respond in a very hysterical manner. Therefore, it is up to South Korean effort to persuade North Korea to continue to keep the self-restraint behavior despite joint military exercise.
How worried are the people of South Korea, of the Republic of Korea, about a strike by North Korea, either a deliberate strike or a mistake?
Yeah, we are very fearful of North Korean threat. North Korea has now nuclear weapons capability. North Korea has deployed more than 8,000 long-range artillery pieces and multiple rocket launchers. They can cover Seoul metropolitan area. But the dilemma is this: if we show panic, then we become the hostage of North Korean tactical move. That is why we South Koreans tend to be much more calm over the North Korean threat. That is ironical to note that America is far away from North Korea, but America is most concerned, and Japan is still quite far away from North Korea, but Japan is second in terms of threat perception. But South Korea, even though under the immediate North Korean threat, we show calm behavior. I don't know whether it's good or not, but that is the way we should handle North Korea.
What about a strike by the United States on North Korea? How much does your country think and worry about that?
Yeah, we are very much worried about American unilateral military action on North Korea, because North Korea is most likely to retaliate against South Korea. Then there will be full-blown conflict escalation. Collateral damage will be catastrophic. Therefore, South Korea cannot really tolerate American military action on North Korea. That is why we have been pushing for the idea of diplomatic resolution of North Korean nuclear problem.
Well, Mr. Moon Chung-in, we thank you very much for coming in to talk with us today. Thank you.
Thank you.